What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel. In the last video on the Muck boots, you saw the HiSeas versus the Arctic Shields, and the HiSeas, at least in my opinion, absolutely blew away the Arctic Shields. And we are bringing on the challenger, the KalKal. By the way, the review on the Mission Mountain Ultraport camping chair is coming up. As you saw in the last Muck boot video, these absolutely blew away the Arctic Shields. The biggest factor was comfort. But I've got my cheat sheet here, so let's go back over these things real quick. 5 mil, pretty great traction on the sole. Plasticized, everything that counts. These things aren't going to get beat up very quickly by river rocks or anything like that. Claims to have a 2 mil air mesh lining for both comfort and breathability. One of the things that really stood out to me with this one is the fact that you can easily replace the liners with a Dr. Scholl's or whatever works for you. From the sole to the top, or top of the back rather, 12.5 inches. This is not a big Muck boot by any stretch of the imagination. But one of the things that I liked about it is that it has an awful lot of potential to be pretty good in the middle of the summer. You're not going to be, completely wrapped up in neoprene. And it's 5 mil, which seems quite honestly a little bit heavy to me. But when I first got these things, it was very late summer, early fall, and I didn't have any heat discomfort, sweat discomfort, anything to that effect. One of the things that I really liked about this boot is this little kicker right here. Like, for instance, say I have the boot on, I can just throw the shoe on the other one, comes right off. You put on your regular shoes. It's basically no touch situation. So, how do the KalKals compare? The KalKals also claim to be 100% waterproof. They certainly look the part. They are very well built. I really like these things as far as the build quality is concerned. I wouldn't have any concerns about leakage or anything like that, just out of the gate. Just like the HiSeas, they have a pretty cool tread pattern, should keep you with a decent amount of traction, particularly when you're on slippery rivers. And one of the cool things about this traction is all this stuff down the middle actually moves a little bit. And that goes for the front of the sole and the back of the sole down the middle. These are really rigid. These actually move a little bit. So this might actually slip a little less than the HiSeas. So I think that's kind of a win for this guy. This is 6 mil neoprene. A little bit heavier in the neoprene department, and in the overall weight department of the boots themselves, I'd say even though these are a lot taller than the HiSea, I think these probably come in at approximately the same weight. And those stats will be up here. They feature the same pull strap that you'll find in the HiSea. So we got a tie there. And they also have a kickoff pad right there, much like the HiSeas. But on the HiSeas, the kickoff strap is a lot lower. And I find it to be a lot more useful. Like, for instance, if I'm trying to kick these things off hands-free to get into a shoe, I can throw my heel up there, but it's not nearly as effective as on the HiSeas. And the reason is the placement of it. On the HiSea, it's really, really low, and it works very, very well. On this guy, it's a lot higher, and everything kind of bends. It doesn't work the same way. Like, for instance, you saw me struggling with that. Not really useful there, but on the HiSea, I can get in there and bang into my shoe, totally hands-free. So in my mind, this feature back here, it's a bit useless. So now I think we're down to comfort. The KalKals also have a removable insert there that you can definitely replace with a Dr. Scholl's or what the like if your feet suck like mine. And out of the gate, they're pretty comfortable. So I guess the big question is, out of these two, which is better? I mean, we've obviously, these are taller, and if you happen to sink into something a little bit deeper than you expected, obviously these are going to not fill quicker than these, just due to the height of them. And then I guess the last question is the temperature comfort level. The HiSeas are comfort rated from 14 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. The KalKals claim -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees. So these would be better in colder weather. These might be a little bit more comfortable in warmer weather. Now, I haven't taken the KalKals out in the water at all, and I'm gonna do that a little bit right now. Do a little fishing, see how it goes. The water temperature is very low. It's at 36 degrees. Amazingly enough, we have no ice on it whatsoever, but hopefully I'll be catching some fish and we'll dip into the water a little bit with these guys. Let's see how it goes. All right, overall impressions. These are two different beasts, and honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. I would say that they are equally as comfortable. The big difference is the height of the shaft, which that extra 2.5 inches can buy you a lot of real estate on the water. These guys, not quite as thick neoprene, 5 mil versus 6 mil. Temperature ratings are completely different. Again, -4 to 68 and 14 to 86. So these might be a little more appropriate if you're using these things during the summer. I don't really see using muck boots very much during the summer. I spend most of my time on the rivers. These, with their better winter rating, might be a better selection for what I do out here, which would include a bunch of this. Listen, I highly recommend both of these sets of boots, both the HiSeas and the KalKals. I guess the big difference maker is going to be what you plan on doing with them. If you're planning on using them in the winter, I'd go with the KalKals. If you're more of a summer user, I'd go with the HiSeas. And the only major disadvantage is that the little kickoff point really isn't very useful on the KalKals, where it is very useful on the HiSeas. So my recommendation is both of them, really. You have to consider how you plan on using these things. Either way you go, you've got a winner here. They're both great, great budget muck boots. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you on the next one.